Вопрос был, кого ты бы хотел из них троих сейчас вот боксировать? Джошуа, Уайлдер или Фьюри?
Вот прям сейчас.
Да.
Наверное, Deontay Wilder, потому что у него есть пояс.
Most likely Wilder.
Most likely Wilder.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So we just heard there from Oleksandr Usyk, aka the Tony Turncoat Slayer, the Tony Bellend Slayer. This dude slays Tony Turncoats every day. He puts them cold out. Yeah, this dude, Oleksandr Usyk, don't have to do much, and he will. Listen, he's one of the guys. People talk about, oh yeah, Tony Turncoat. He needs to get back to see his wife and kids. This dude here is the anti. Get home to your wife and kids slayer. He will make sure you ain't going nowhere near your wife and kids ever again. He'll make sure your consciousness gets punched clean, gets southpawed clean out of your turncoat head. Usyk, the turncoat slayer. AJ should probably cut Oleksandr Usyk a check because he did him a favour here. He knocked one of AJ's side haters in Tony Turncoat clean out. Anyway, let's get to it. This for me has been a kind of like a secret little pleasure I've had for a while now. My dream fight has been Usyk versus Wilder. And the main reason is because they're going to be a similar size in terms of weight. If anything, actually, it's highly likely if Wilder comes in 209, Usyk's going to be more. In fact, I've heard Usyk spars around 220 to 225. So even if Wilder comes in heavy, which allegedly he has been doing, i.e. round 225, they're going to be the same weight. And I rate Usyk has better conditioning than Wilder. And what do we know? What have we proved recently? Wilder only knocks people out when they're tired. Simple as that. Usyk don't get tired. In fact, Usyk actually builds up. Usyk has crazy output. He's outputting 100 punches versus Murat Gassiev. 115, 120 punches sometimes. Can Wilder deal with that work rate? I don't think so. I really don't. This fight for me gets me truly gassed. And I hope in a way that Usyk doesn't go down the WBO, WBA or IBF route. I've heard he is going down the WBO route, but he says here he wants Wilder. I'd prefer him to fight Wilder first. Let's have Wilder fighting some contenders for once. Can we get Dillian Whyte? Can we get Usyk? If Wilder beats Dillian Whyte and Usyk, I will literally start looking at him the same way I look at AJ. Until then, he's a bum who don't want to fight no one. He ain't gonna fight Usyk. That for me would be an amazing fight. So it'd be so interesting because I just can't see how Wilder's right hand. It's not like a Klitschko right hand. Klitschko could hit Usyk because it's short. His right hand's really short, really sharp. Wilder's right hand is so loopy. I feel that Usyk's schooling in boxing is too good. He's seen so many styles. I just reckon he's going to be able to defend that looping right hand every time. And to be fair, look at Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, I don't care what no one says. Tyson Fury in 2018 is not the same Fury. That's why he got caught. Usyk, arguably, is a higher level than Fury in terms of actual boxing. And that's another fight I'd love to see. Usyk versus Fury. But the difference is, in my opinion, Usyk has much better power than Fury. Look at Tony Turncoat, got knocked out. Do you think Fury could knock Tony Turncoat out? I don't think so. Tony Bellew would not get knocked out by Fury, but he got knocked out by Usyk. Usyk is deadly. He's got dangerous power. Crazy fast hands. Crazy fast combinations. I honestly think he'd box Wilder up. And the other thing is, we've seen Usyk in there with a super heavyweight. Joe Joyce is 250 pounds. Usyk got in there and bullied him all over the ring. And bearing in mind, Joe Joyce is known as the workhorse. He's known as a guy who comes forward and throws combinations. Usyk stood with him, put in a bit of footwork, and boxed his head off. Beat him up, body and head. And I can see that happening to Wilder. I can see Usyk getting on top of Wilder and just beating him up, head and toe, because Wilder can't fight on the inside. Usyk loves fighting on the inside. He hasn't got like a powerful 1-2. He's got like a bit of a flicky 1-2. He'll flick his 1-2, get into range, and just start slapping you. To be fair, he doesn't turn his shots over. What excites me isn't the fact that, oh yeah, Usyk's gonna put a massive 3-4-3 combination to Wilder, Mike Tyson style. No, what excites me is I can imagine Wilder hitting Usyk and Usyk not going over. And just I got a vision in my head of Usyk just getting stuck in with Wilder. Like, I tell you what, go back and watch. What's Joe Joyce versus Usyk? That's how I see the Wilder fight going. I see Usyk getting on top of him and just punching him up. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe Wilder will leap in from 6 foot away and catch Usyk. Maybe Usyk will get caught with one of them sloppy shots. I don't see it. Usyk too young, too sharp. I honestly see him boxing Wilder up. I see a situation where put it this way, I see a situation where if Usyk can last the first 6 rounds, I reckon the last 6 rounds, when Wilder slows down that a little bit, I see a situation where Usyk just gets on top of him and just bullies him, and essentially I see a situation where Usyk shuts down Wilder's offense. Look at the Fury fight, and this is what people forget. I rate Freddie Roach because Freddie Roach had it right. Freddie Roach said to Fury, after the first 6 rounds against Wilder, Wilder gets sloppier. He gets more wrangly. Once that sweat gets going, once that tiredness gets going, Wilder gets more wrangly. And they're the times where you should start upping the pace. And what do we know? The few times that Fury actually upped the pace, he was winning the fight, clearly. That's what I call a boxing lesson. Them few times Fury came on strong. That would if he'd maintained that every round, multiple times around, he would have won the fight, and that would have been a true boxing lesson. Instead of listening to Freddie Roach was telling him, pick the pace up, let's get going now, let's get to work. You've played around for the first 6 rounds, you've got comfortable, let's go to work now. That's what Freddie Roach was saying. But Ben Davison was saying, no, keep doing what you're doing, keep running for your life, keep being scared. When you fight scared, you stay in that mid-range and you get your head punched off. When you get on top of Wilder, he can't fight. He doesn't have any inside shots. The only thing Wilder does on the inside is literally put his 2 hands up like earmuffs. He leaves his whole midsection open. So as I was saying, after them first 6 rounds, if Usyk survives, I think that they're the most dangerous. The first 6 rounds are the most dangerous. I.e., if Wilder's able to catch Usyk off guard. That's the only chance I see Wilder having in that fight. I think if he makes it past the first 6, Usyk will have downloaded all the information he needs, and he'll then start upping the pace. Then he'll start using all the information he's got and applying a particular offense to it. Getting on top of Wilder, and then when on the inside, when Wilder puts his earmuffs on, I can see Usyk just digging him to the body. And like, as I keep saying, I can see a situation where Usyk gets on the inside versus Wilder. Wilder gets a little bit more tired. Bearing in mind he's getting 35 now, 36 Wilder is. I can see Usyk punching him to the body a few times. That's going to slow Wilder down even more. And then I see it where Wilder's right hand will just disappear. I see it where Usyk will punch him up so much, it will shut his offense down. Just like Mikey Garcia versus Spence. It will completely shut that big right hand. Them big right hands take a lot of energy. When you're getting touched to the body, when you're getting touched to the head, when you've got 120 punches being thrown in a round against you, that right hand's going to disappear. When you're trying to line that right hand up and the guy's coming in and throwing punches at you, that right hand will disappear, trust me. No one's done it to Wilder before though. No one's got on top of him. And that's what I'd always hoped AJ would do. Step in with a 1-2 and get on top of him. Get stuck in with him. 100%. And that's why I've said before, AJ versus Ruiz, the winner of that fight, will be so dangerous to Wilder. Ruiz, if Ruiz wins, he'll get on top of Wilder and punch him up. He can't fight on the inside. He's going to get more tired. No one's actually stuck it on Wilder. Everyone's allowed him to go at his own pace. As I keep saying, Joe Joyce versus Usyk, and that fight was damn near 6 years ago now. Usyk's improved massively, and he beat Joe Joyce up. Joe Joyce 6'6". Usyk got in there and boxed his head off, punched him up, body and head, worked him all over. That's what Wilder's getting. He's getting worked if he dares go in there with Ruiz. That there's a fight I really want to see. I don't want to see AJ versus Usyk because I just feel that AJ's had enough now of all the tests. I'm just not that interested. I actually want to see how good Wilder is. I really do. I'm not really interested in AJ versus Usyk. I want to see Fury versus Usyk. I'm really intrigued at that fight. Usyk versus Wilder. I'd like to see them two fights, if I'm honest. I think Dillian Whyte, bearing in mind AJ's already beat Dillian Whyte, I think Dillian Whyte and Usyk should really be shared between. I think Wilder and Fury and Usyk and Dillian Whyte should all have a little heavyweight tournament. That's what should be happening now, because AJ's been the one who's been doing all the work for a while. If we're honest with ourselves, Ruiz, Povetkin, and I think actually in the meantime AJ should get to fight Ortiz. That should be what it is. Dillian Whyte, Usyk, Fury and Wilder should all have a little bit of a fight off, and then AJ fights Ortiz. That's what should be happening now.